And we're live.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Committee on Community Development, Tuesday, October 6, 2020. Councilmember Gollenbach.
Here.
Councilmember Farrelletto.
Here.
Councilmember Rivera. Councilmember Scanlon.
Present.
Councilmember Wyatt.
Here.
Council President Pridgen.
Here.
Councilmember Bowman.
Present.
Councilmember Nowakowski.
Present.
Councilmember Wingo.
Present.
Quorum is present.
Okay, let's take, I believe it's item number 5 out of order, please.
Motion to take item 5 out of order.
Seconded by Mr. Nowakowski.
Item number 5, notice of intention, naming parcel at Main and North Division Streets, Nikola Tesla Park.
Items open.
Okay, we believe we have somebody here, Mr. McGee, to speak on this.
Mr. Chairman, it looks like he's still signing in.
Okay,
He's waiting because of the delay of the meeting. So if we
Okay.
could hold in abeyance for about a minute.
okay, motion to hold in abeyance. Let's go on to the next item.
Item number 1, request for designated developer status of city-owned parcels located at 61 Terrace.
Items
Uh,
open.
Yeah, this item's open.
Yes, we've been joined by Mr. Mahaffey for this.
Okay, Brendan? Brendan, you might be on mute.
His audio doesn't seem to be connected.
Right.
Hold it in abeyance.
Yeah, why don't we hold this in abeyance, go on to the next item. Seconded by Mr. Nowakowski.
Item number 2, BMHA Section 3 Equal Opportunity Request for Director's Attention.
Items open.
Okay, this item is open. Do we have any speakers here for this?
Hello?
That Mr. Johnson?
I'm here to speak with the director for the Section 20 available.
Hey, I'm
Hello?
having a hard time hearing him. I don't know if it's our audio or what.
It's on his end. Mr. Johnson, if you have mic controls, if you could turn down the gain just a little bit, kind of blowing out on our end.
Turn it down. You hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay. You can hear me? You can hear me, sir?
Yes, much better.
The Section 3 director available today?
Okay, you got, Mr. Johnson, you've got the floor for 3 minutes.
The Section 3. You don't hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, but it's very cracky.
What I want to say is that since is the Section 3 director available? That's what I asked for in my
We're having a difficult time hearing you.
So what do you want me to do? My volume is down.
Okay.
Perfectly. I can't do this without y'all being able to hear no problem.
Okay. If you want to try starting over and see if we can hear you.
Could you hear me now, sir?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Is the Section 3 director available? as the Section 3 Director available?
No, Malcolm, we're having a hard time hearing him. Can you hook up with him and see if maybe we can hold this in abeyance, or if there's somebody else to speak?
Yes, sir. We'll reach out and see if we can get him set up a little bit better in the same meeting. Meanwhile, he has filed his concerns and questions in writing, and it is on the items. So I would respectfully direct the attention of the committee members to that at another time. And for right now, we'll try to see what we can do technically to get him back on.
Okay, all right. And there's nobody else to speak on this item but him?
That's correct, sir.
Okay, so we'll hold this in abeyance. Is Mahaffey and Finn, are they on and able to speak now?
I am here, Chairman.
Okay, let's go back. I believe that was to item number 1.
I apologize for being late. I was on another.
Seconded by Mr. Bowman. Okay, Brendan, you have the floor.
Well, thank you to the honorable body for having a chance to speak today. This is a designated developer agreement for 61 Terrace. This is the latest project that has been proposed by Douglas Development, and Doug Jamal specifically is the leader of that project. This is, again, just a designated developer agreement. It is not the sale of land for a project that will add several hundred units of housing to the city of Buffalo downtown area. It is located right next to the Seneca One Tower, as well as several hundred parking spaces. One to replace the parking spaces. This currently an asphalt parking lot. Those spaces will be replaced in a structured parking ramp, and then there will be additional spaces added for the residential units that are being built. So we will continue to work with Douglas Development over the next few months on the final details of the development to bring back to this honorable body for sale. For the residential, there is also discussion of an affordable housing component percentage in the units that are being built. They have made a commitment, but there is no finality in terms of exactly what that percentage is at this point in time, but there is a conversation. This fits in well with the Race for Place strategy that we have pursued for downtown, really building out the density in the downtown area and the amenities for retaining our talent and also attracting talent to the city of Buffalo for our economy. Obviously, during these very trying times, to have a project of this size, estimated about $42 million, will be very beneficial for our trades, the construction companies, and also ultimately very beneficial for the city of Buffalo overall for that significant investment that will be made. So again, at this point in time, the posture is just as a designated developer agreement. There was a complementary one that was approved by the Buffalo Urban Renewal Agency about a week ago. And again, just as a designated developer agreement. And when it is actually a sale of land, then it will be brought to this honorable body, both the Buffalo Urban Renewal Agency land as well as the city land. So I think that's kind of a brief overview of the item that is before you. And if there are any questions, happy to respond.
Mr. President?
Thank you, sir. Thanks, Brendan, for the presentation. Usually we have the developer to come before the council on the designated developer status. And it's only to get the developer to speak on the record of their intentions. On this one, what is very, very important that this council has talked about is the affordable housing component of the development, especially in light of the fact that we're selling city land. We've been pretty consistent on the council. I know that Mr. Douglas Jamal has done a great job in talking about it for the police headquarters, the old police headquarters. But I want to be clear from the beginning so we don't fall out later on this subject, that the affordable component for housing there must must be discussed. And I know that it's being said that this project is upside down from the beginning as far as pricing. I've said I don't think it's going to be upside down forever. Maybe in the building process it will, but I want to be very clear because we talked about inclusionary zoning in the past, that when the city-owned property is being sold, especially in downtown Buffalo and these areas that are changing, that there is an affordable component. Are they prepared, since we don't have anybody from the team in front of us as we usually would, are they moving toward that? And I mean, if you're going to speak for them as their spokesman, I'll hold your feet to the fire on it. But are they moving toward that affordable component?
Yeah, first of all, let me, I won't be their spokesman necessarily, but I will say that I'm not aware of the invitation going to them. There was an invitation for me to speak today. So I know that Douglas, and I'm sure you know as well, Douglas and Paul wouldn't have hesitated to come and speak to this committee. And that's not an issue in any way, shape, or form. You were certainly with me when Paul quite clearly said at the press conference that there will be a commitment to affordable housing. We are still early enough in the project where we'll talk about, again, those exact percentages. But when this comes back before you, there will be an affordable housing component. I feel very, very confident in saying that to you.
And that's important. And I'm not sure what happened in the communication. Usually the developer is contacted. So I'm not sure how that didn't happen, but I'm comfortable with moving this forward, hearing that from you and knowing that we still have a bite at the apple when it comes to the sale.
Yes.
So that we just don't want everything to get drawn up and then later we hear from the developer, hey, we can't make this happen. Got to find a way to make it happen.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Motion to approve.
Motion to, Mr. Scanlon?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just one quick question about this project. And I think I saw the council president mention something about this. I don't know if it was at the announcement or it was during our bureau meeting. He talked about the fee associated with the designated developer agreement and what that is per month. And if we've ever given any discussion based on the high profile location of property or anything like that, adjusting that fee down the road, or if we've had any discussion about that. Could you touch on that a little bit and how we come to that?
So that was at the Buffalo Urban Renewal Agency meeting. I also believe Councilmember Wyatt brought it up at the caucus meeting. Hope-Yon Watkins and, our Director of Real Estate, Hope-Yon Watkins, and the General Counsel of the Buffalo Urban Renewal Agency have been talking over the past week. They are working on a specific policy on that amount. The designated developer fee that we have for this project is on the higher end, but we certainly have heard the statement about the consistency and making sure that is consistent. So we are going to have a policy that we can present to the council and also the board of the Buffalo Urban Renewal Agency so that they understand exactly what the rationale is for those designated developer fees. So that is in the works, and we will present that to you.
Good. Yeah, I'd like to see that. Just obviously some sort of formula, or however you are going to decide that. Obviously myself, Councilmember Golombek, Council President Pridgett, us sitting on the Bureau board as well. We'd like to see that. I don't mean to speak for them, but I think we'd like to see that formula so we can't be accused of being arbitrary or anything like that, that everything's set forward and we'll know well in advance of how we're going to arrive at that monthly fee. So thanks for working on that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's in the works.
Okay, Councilmember Wyatt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Brendan, you said that this was on the higher end, the amount, the fee is on the higher end, you said?
Yeah, for the $1,000, we've had higher than $1,000, but we range anywhere from, with some of the not-for-profits that we work with, that there's no fee whatsoever. There's an agreement for them to maintain the property, cut grass, things of that nature. So there's no cash transaction whatsoever. $250, $500. So at $1,000, we are starting to go up to the higher end. We have had some, I believe, at 201 Ellicott that were higher than this. And so we're just going to make sure, again, that it is consistent, reflects value, reflects strategy, reflects policy from developer to developer.
Okay. And last question is, I know Council President mentioned inclusionary zoning. Is that a dead issue? I mean, I know we talked about legislation being brought forth, but we haven't heard anything. There's not been any further conversation. So I want to know, where are we with that? Are we still looking at it, or it's just like we're not paying attention? What?
Well, no, there's a huge commitment to there's a significant commitment to affordability. Still, the number of units that we're producing in the city of Buffalo in terms of affordable housing still outpace even the percentages that were discussed before. But that was as a result of actual affordable housing finance that are coming forward. So, for instance, 201 Ellicott is a great example of a project that is 100% affordable at this point, and many of the projects that are happening in the city of Buffalo are benefit. Can you hear me?
No, I can.
Now we can.
You can? Okay.
Yeah.
So when we have land transactions such as this, then we do work to negotiate affordability into them, as well as our MWBE and workforce participation goals as well. So that has been largely the approach and the focus that we have had.
So our request for legislation is not being looked at?
No, not at this point. No, not at this point in time, because with a lot of the projects, the percentages that we're hitting are significant in terms of the production of units in the city of Buffalo.
But if we take in the total number of units that have come online and the percentage of them as it relates to affordability, you're telling me that that's going to be a good number? If we took the composite, not before the conversation, I'm talking about the composite of what we brought online.
Yes.
To the number of, can you give me some statistics on that?
Yeah, I'll give you statistics on that. And those statistics are based upon the projects that have appeared before the planning board. And so we're over 30% in terms of the number of residential units that are being built in the city of Buffalo are affordable.
When can you get me that information?
I can get that to you. Give me a week.
Okay.
Week, is that good?
That's good. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Motion stands. Mr. Rivera, was that to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve, seconded by Mr. Pridgen.
Item number 2, BMHA Section 3 Equal Opportunity Request for Director's attention.
Going.
Leave this item is open. Is this one that Mr. Johnson was to speak on?
Can you hear me? I started the video and everything. Do you hear me?
Okay. Mr. Johnson, you have the floor.
Do you hear me, sir?
Yes.
Okay, what I was asking was BMHA Section 3 Director available today.
He's asking in his note, and Mr. Johnson, your phone, Mr. Chair, he's asking for Section 3 Director if he's available today, but this is from BMHA he's requesting.
Okay. And no, I'm assuming that person is not with us.
Okay. Because I would like to speak for myself. Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you, but it's very difficult.
Okay, I'm gonna just talk, okay?
Okay.
Since the director is not available, I want to bring to the council's attention an item which is the permission to enter into intermunicipal agreement with BMHA. What I want to speak about being that my item regarding BMHA, this item didn't go before a committee. It was unanimously approved by the council last week. So in conjunction with what I'm going to speak before you today, I would like that item to be placed back on the agenda for correcting input, because the community would like to develop some type of memorandum of understanding of what's going on for the council to pass this item without the community input. I believe this item deserves community input because it's been a lot of things going on in BMHA. I don't know if you can see my screen, but I have some things that I want to show the screen for the record. Let's see. In regards to the city's apprenticeship law, BMHA has a Section 3 policy and program that they introduced to the community. One of the things I'm going to bring to this council's attention is the right to work list. What is detailed is ready to work list contains the names of Section 3 residents available for work in the construction field. The list is given to contractors working on housing of different properties to canvas and hire Section 3 residents in order to meet hiring goals. Now, as of lately, we have been running the apprenticeship laws and stuff like that. So basically what I needed is an opportunity for the Section 3 director to give voice to some of those things because it's a lot of things that be going on, such as the BMHA Oversight Task Force. Okay, Mr. Wyatt, he introduced this, and this item has been getting tabled since. I want to revisit these things, and for the council to unanimously pass that measure without community input, I believe that that item should be called because y'all asking for BMHA to allocate over also over $500,000 for this agreement. And y'all is in the contract of the agreement, y'all asking to take over services that BMHA already supposed to be performing. So that shows an efficiency. We need to have community input on that, and since the Section 3 director wasn't able to attend, I would like the council to refer that item back to the regular session, and so it to be appointed a committee so that the community can get input, because we want a memorandum of understanding. There's a lot of things that BMHA is not doing already. So if the city is going to be taking, merging those services, we want to have the community and residents of BMHA want to have some input in coming to an understanding of what's going on, because I have before me agreements that y'all have with the BMHA has an agreement between BMHA and Local 17.
Mr. Johnson, what we can do is we can table this and request a representative from the BMHA to come at the next community development meeting so that you can get answers for the questions with the assistance of the council. I can have staff work with you. Malcolm Eartha will assign somebody to work with you to get your questions formulated so that we can get them to the BMHA, and then have somebody here for the next meeting, perhaps in 2 weeks.
I think we lost them.
Okay. All right, why don't we table this, and then we'll do that. We'll have staff contact him, and we'll put together something hopefully for 2 weeks from today. So motion to table, seconded by Mr. Scanlon.
Sir, Mr. Chairman, if I may, you have been joined by Mr. McGee, who you're waiting for on item number 5.
Okay, let's take item number 5 out of abeyance, seconded by Mr. Scanlon.
Item number
Hello.
5, notice of intention, naming parcel at Main and North Division.
Items open.
Okay, the item's open and we have a speaker here, Mr. McGee. The floor is yours.
Hello, thank you. And I would like to thank Council Member Golombek and Council President Pridgen for co-sponsoring this resolution to name the parcel at Main and North Division for Nikola Tesla. If I could, I'd like to read a few brief letters of support. They're very brief.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, the first one is from Melissa Brown, Executive Director of the Buffalo History Museum. We, the Buffalo History Museum, are pleased to learn of the naming of the resolution to name the parcel at the corner of Main and North Division for Nikola Tesla. We support the proposed naming of the Pocket Park on this corner. This location, with the backdrop of the Ellicott Square building, where Tesla gave the keynote speech on January 12th, 1897 at the Power Banquet, will serve to remind all visitors to downtown Buffalo of the importance of Tesla's genius and the impact on the city's history. Signed, Melissa Brown. The next one is from Father Vladislav Golik and Peter Stevanov of the St. Stephen Serbian Orthodox Church. Nikola Tesla's contributions to the world have revolutionized how we live. He was a man who was ahead of his time. He is important to the people of Serbia, America, and Western New York. It is fitting that the park where Tesla's statue is located at the corner of Main and North Division be named for him. Our church community supports the naming of Nikola Tesla Park at the corner of Main and North Division streets in the city of Buffalo, New York. And finally, from Dana Saylor, a community activist who has been involved with Tesla activities for many years. As the historian who inspired the location of the new Nikola Tesla statue with my research, I am writing in support of naming the parcel on which the statue sits Nikola Tesla Park. It is incumbent on us as leaders in our community to share our rich past with residents and visitors out into the future. Naming this park for one of the most important scientists and innovators in our modern age is appropriate and forward-thinking. It will be a site of remembrance and of marking our city's role in world history, the first place to receive long-distance AC power, which began thereafter to dominate our burgeoning electrical grid. Tesla's inventions were many, and each of them were history-making. Let's give him and Buffalo their due. And thank you for that. I'll conclude with that.
Okay, thank you, Martin. We're going to recommend that the item be adopted, not this one, but the appropriate one, and then it will go in front of full council next week. I think it's a great honor for Nikola Tesla and the Buffalo community. And I know there was some criticism from some people about, naming another park after another white male. And the reality, though, is that this is a person who did something worldwide and famous. And people to criticize this, I just think that there's a lack of historical knowledge out there. And I'm very, very thankful that Melissa and Dana wrote letters from themselves and their organization in support of Nikola Tesla, because, Buffalo has a great history, warts and all. And I think that this is a very, very good thing for us. So Martin, thank you, and Dr. Lustingi and all of the people that were involved in this. And, we'll move forward with it.
Thank you.
Okay.
What would you like?
I think we can receive and file this. The moving item is number 8.
Motion to receive and file.
Motion to receive and file, seconded by Mr. Pridgen.
Item number 3, investigate New York State violations of labor law disparity study.
Items open.
Okay. This item is open. Do we have anyone to speak on this? Excuse me. If we don't have anyone,
it was the same author of the previous letter, so we'll communicate with him and try to get him on a separate meeting with a better audio.
Okay. Motion to table, seconded by Councilmember Wyatt.
Item number 4, opportunity to speak on creating a community diversity law oversight committee.
Items open.
This item is
Same
open.
circumstance here,
It
sir.
says that there would be possible speakers. Do we have anyone?
It's the same circumstance here, sir.
Okay, so table.
Motion to table.
Motion to table seconded by Mr. Farrelletto.
Item number 6, intention to rename Columbus Park.
Items open.
This item's open. Mr. Rivera, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. I have been working with Prospect Hill, Columbus Park residents, along with the Italian Federation. As you know, we removed the monument at the request of the Italian Federation. Since then, the neighborhood has asked that we go back and rename the park to its original name, which was, I believe, Prospect Park. Whatever the original name was, whether Prospect Hill or Prospect Park, I'm not sure if it's listed there, that we renamed that park from Columbus Park to the original name. And I supported, the residents are in support of this. So motion is that this be, I don't know if it needs to, if we need to move on this today. I'll defer.
Mr. Chairman, this one has already been adopted. It's just the results that have been sent here. So at this point, the next step would be for the clerks to issue a notice of intention. We would hold a public meeting after that, public hearing after that.
Okay, so we can table this one.
Motion to table.
Motion to table seconded by Mr. Wyatt.
Item number 7, Slow Street Program funding.
Items open.
This item is open. I think, Mr. Nowakowski, this is yours.
Yes, is the Commissioner Finn on?
Commissioner Finn, yes, he is.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Commissioner Finn. I was delighted to hear that Harvey Austin would be selected. I think you said next construction season.
Yeah, we've received bids for that project, and we're moving forward with processing a contract. You know, October 6th, there's a chance we could do it this year. If not, it'll be done, you know, as soon as the winter gives up next spring.
And how many, I mean, a lot of my colleagues also wanted to inquire about districts of their own. So for this project, how much money will be allotted in that line? And what's the average project cost?
Are you referring to the project around Harvey Austin?
Yeah, I think Harvey Austin would be the first. And then, you know, there are other sections where in my district that I put in my resolution were just for speed bumps, you know, at certain intersections.
Yeah, I don't have the information for the Harvey Austin project handy or at hand. I could follow up with that. I believe we reported the bids to council a few weeks ago. The project was listed under Coons Avenue was the name of the project. There's a couple other items attached to a couple other projects we lumped into one as well. So let me specifically send you an email for what the exact cost is related to the work on Coons Avenue for the Harvey Austin School.
Thank you very much.
It would not be readily available now that I think about it if you just check the council items.
Thank you. What I'll do is I will just follow up with you. I'll table this item, but then follow up with you in your department separately.
Okay, thank you.
Motion to table.
Motion is to table seconded by Councilmember Nowakowski.
Item number 8, name parcel at Main and North Division Streets.
Item, motion to adopt.
This is the adopt item for the Tesla Park, seconded by Council President Pridgen.
Take from the
This
table.
is a public hearing.
Oh. Okay, sorry.
Public hearing.
Okay, motion is to open the public hearing, seconded by Mr. Pridgen. Let's see.
So this was for the statements already given by Mr. McGee.
Right, yeah, and I don't see anybody else here for or against.
Correct. There is no one else on the call for this item.
Okay,
Motion.
And we have received no written opposition to it.
okay. So motion is to close the public hearing, seconded by Mr. Scanlon.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt, seconded by the Council President, Mr. Pridgen. And the motion now is to take from the table items 10, 11, and 12.
Item number 10, notification serials.
Items open.
Okay, this item is open. Does anyone need to speak on this?
This is,
Mr. Finn, does this need to be approved right away, or what would you recommend if there's?
I believe this was sent to committee. The council president had some questions about it.
Okay, sorry, Mr. President.
Thank you. I was slow on the click to unmute. I know we've discussed this, and Dr. Cressy is on. So there is concern in the neighborhood about pushing more traffic, more parking into that Best Maston area. Right now, and I don't know if you're aware of it, Mr. Finn, I think we think you know every street by heart, so I won't pretend that you know. When you go down Maston and Best, there are cars already parked there. It's supposed to be a lane in each direction. The lines are way off because the traffic has to come over into the traffic that's coming towards City Honors. So we still have some parking stuff to work out there. Were you aware of that, Mr. Finn, Commissioner?
Not specifically aware of the traffic, I'll call it traffic configuration concerns that you're expressing. That's something that I can have my department look into and give you a response.
And I should have wrote you a card. I pass it every day and I really forgot. So that's not a big deal, but it's about the parking, where that parking would move if we take it away from City Honors. And there does need to be something done, because for the parents and others who would go in City Honors, there's really no parking. But where are we thinking that they would park?
Well, that's not something I've investigated. We can do that. We can look at that as well as part of the analysis of that intersection that you had mentioned. This was presented to us through the school, and we kind of just work through it to move it towards implementation. But if there's concerns, we can certainly look into those and provide response so that that everyone's on the same page, and we're not going back and changing something in 6 months because we didn't fully think through what the issues are.
Yeah, and I'd appreciate that. And I know we're out of school right now, so I think we really need to work through that before we change that parking. And staff, someone has just put up, and I want to thank them. Oh, you can bring that back up, the map. Whoever just put it up and got rid of it. So on the map, yep, he's showing it right there. Right there is where the parking is horrible. Am I on the right? Nope. Yeah, Maston.
This is the intersection I'm talking about up here.
No, so we're up
if I
above.
can make an ask,
Go up
if I
above.
can ask the staff, could you click at the bottom left? There's a button that will turn on the satellite vision, which will show maybe parked cars. Yeah, there we go.
Ah, you got it. So as you see, it's really the area I'm talking. Where's City Honors? Because I'm all discombobulated.
City Honors would be bottom left, I believe.
Okay, so I'm talking about, you see where the black car is and the red car? The parking has moved to the other side of the street now. And so, but when they park, keep going up. No, we were across Best. Keep going up. Yep, right there. So right now the parking is on the right side of the street instead of the left side. And I think that's permanent, kind of. And it's just real dangerous there. But to get to the question about changing that parking in front of City Honors, we have how many spots there, Dr. Cressy, that you want to change to paid?
I forget the exact number. I think it might be like 25, 30 spots along Fosdick Street.
Who's parking there right now? And I think we've had this conversation, but it's all a blur after so many months.
It's all if whoever's controlling the satellite can move over towards Fosdick Street. It's all medical campus right now. And so the issue that was pointed out to me by Ben Cashaw from Fruit Belt Coalition and some of the other neighbors is our visitors to the school they can't park there because first shift employees from the medical campus already park all along Fosdick Street. And then, so our visitors to the building, parents during the day, et cetera, they will go up and down the Fruit Belt streets looking for parking. Those medical campus employees really should be parked in those beautiful new garages the city has invested in. And it's become even more problematic for us during the pandemic. We have a lot of pickup and drop off days for our students to get materials. And the medical campus folks don't know which days are school days and not days. And so they will come into conflict with the students and the parents trying to do pickup and drop off days. We have worked with parking enforcement to do temporary marking so people would know there are special days that not to be there. That's led to confrontations between the medical campus parkers and traffic parking enforcement. So really what we're asking to be done is on the east side of Fosdick Street, that there be no standing signs, I think is what was recommended, so that can continue to be used as a parent pickup drop-off lane. And on the west side of the street, it would go to, I think they were suggesting Buffalo Rome for about 2 hours, so that visitors to the school could come and find that parking and access the school, wouldn't go into the Fruit Belt neighborhood, and then it would force the medical campus employees to take advantage of the parking that has been made available on the campus.
Okay. Can we send, I don't want to hold this up too long. If we send it without recommendation, actually, we usually receive and file this, I believe. So it's not, this is really by courtesy, I think, of having this discussion here. So we could send it back to actually it could just be received and filed.
Motion to receive and file.
Motion to receive and file, seconded by Mr. Pridgen.
Thank you.
Item number 11, Western New York Youth Climate Council petition for declaration of a climate emergency.
Item's open.
This item is open and we have someone to speak here.
Hello.
Okay, you have the floor.
Thank you, esteemed council members. Thank you for having me today to represent the Western New York Youth Climate Council, a youth-led organization that brings youth leadership to the forefront of our region's climate justice movement through policy, direct action, and education to create a livable future for all of WNY, and to represent its co-organizers, Shoshana Hertz, Nadia El-Halawani, Anyang Yak, Ilyas Khan, Valerie Zhuang, Gabby Prince, and Daniel Piscotti. My name is Sonia Carlson, and I'm here to ask you to approve the Council's climate emergency resolution. Already, we see the effects of climate change: extensive fires, intense storms, increasingly devastating droughts, dwindling resources, and a worldwide pandemic. As a Great Lakes city, we have a tremendous obligation and opportunity to be a leader in our nation and world. With our abundant fresh water and natural resilience, Buffalo is poised to spearhead the move to a just transition. Environmental harm is much greater for Black, Indigenous, and people of color, and stopping climate change is a critical investment, not an economic burden. Climate justice is a movement to address the racial, economic, and ecological inequalities in our region and around the world. In correlation with your current work on police reform, the climate crisis is about more than just access to clean air, water, and food. Our most vulnerable and underserved communities continue to be disproportionately impacted by climate change and environmental racism, and we believe the time is now to ensure an equitable future for all generations. Last July, the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act passed in New York State, outlining a path to net neutral emissions by 2050 and allocating 40% of sustainable energy development funds directly to underserved communities. Last year, Mayor Brown declared Buffalo a climate refuge city and signed 2 pieces of legislation which provide funding for clean energy projects, which we can utilize for the implementation of our climate emergency resolution. As the city of good neighbors, we should use these existing mandates and this declaration to help our fellow Buffalonians. We now have close to 4,000 paper and online signatures and are supported by more than 20 local organizations, 10 of which have sent testimonials of their support so far. Representatives from the YCC are in the Buffalo Climate Smart Communities Task Force and the Erie County Community Climate Change Task Force. As young people, as future voters, and as people working with this honorable body and others, we ask you to adopt this climate resolution as concrete plans for our city and region. These are our futures we're talking about, and we want to see real change, community engagement, and a commitment to preserving our planet. This isn't just for the Western New Yorkers of today, but to ensure a livable future for generations. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Any comments from my colleagues? Mr. Nowakowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to first begin thanking Ms. Carlson for her presentation today. She should be extremely proud of herself for doing a really wonderful job here in committee. One of the best Zooms that I was able to join during the beginning of this year was talking to the Youth Council about what a climate emergency means and what it means for the city of Buffalo. And by the city of Buffalo declaring a climate emergency, we will be declaring our support to fight climate change on every level here in the city of Buffalo. And I would like to acknowledge that I do support this.
Mr. Wyatt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I believe I met Ms. Carlson and a group of hers last year, and want to commend her and her group, the young people, of their concern for our world, and thank her for this resolution. And I definitely support this movement of us looking for more renewable energies and not fossil fuels and those type of things. So I commend her in her efforts, and I definitely support this resolution as well. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Pridgeon?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In my mail, I have all of these cards concerning the resolution, and is very organized, and I, along with my colleagues, support it as well, and would even like to look at how we award contracts to companies, and maybe giving some preference to companies that can help to save our climate. Those type of vehicles that are electric vehicles, or not powered by fuel. So I think we have to give this more than lip service. They have some very, very good suggestions. So I don't know if a council member is willing to pick this up. Councilmember Nowakowski is going to pick this up and sponsor a resolution that will be before us as soon as he's ready. Thank you, and thank you for the great work, Ms. Carlson, and to your team.
Yes, same here. We can table this while the council works on it. Most likely it would be something that all 9 of us would sign on to. I don't want to get ahead of myself, though. But I think this is marked for tabling.
Mark, motion.
Okay, motion to table, seconded by Mr. Nowakowski.
Item number 12, naming Nikola Tesla Park.
Motion to receive and file.
Motion to receive and file, seconded by Mr. Pridgeon. I believe that's it. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, thank you, everybody.